So the village staff has been working with Raleigh Lockray, who did the Village Park at Plover development, on possibly doing a 87 unit 4-story apartment building in Village Park at Plover. So the first step the village took was we received authorization from the village board to do a TIF amendment. So we're doing a project plan amendment in which we would identify this project receiving developer incentives, and then amending the expenditures of TIF number 4 to include the Lake Packwell Park improvements. And so that was done a few weeks ago. This last week, village staff presented the development agreement to the village board. What we've agreed to is essentially $500,000 pay-as-you-go TIF agreement. Yeah, so essentially, Raleigh Lockray has agreed to build the 4-story 87 unit apartment complex in Village Park at Plover behind Great Northern and IHOP, across from Hampton Inn and Lake Packwell Park. And so, as part of that, he's agreed that I will do this project, I will get it in the ground this fall, so he has to be under construction by November 1 of 2019. And he's gotta be completed with construction by December 31st of 2020 in order for him to meet the requirements of the development agreement. He also agreed to a minimum assessed value of $8.7 million, or about $100,000 a unit. In the event that his building doesn't meet that minimum assessed value, he's agreed to do a payment in lieu of taxes, so a pilot. So let's say we agree mutually that, your development will be worth 8.7 million at a minimum. It could be above that, but if it's below that, you have to pay that difference. Let's say it's a $8.5 million assessed value, and there's a $50,000 difference between 8.5 and 8.7 in taxes, he'd have to pay that difference. So that's what a pilot or payment in lieu of taxes.
Okay.
It was really crucial for us to do it for this development because of the Lake Packwell Park improvements that we're hoping to do. So the unglamorous side of Lake Packwell Park improvements will, the parking lots, the underground utilities, walking paths, things like that don't get people excited about fundraising and donating towards the park, is what we're hoping to offset with this development. Yeah, so it's a pay-as-you-go TIF incentive, so essentially if he doesn't perform or he's unable to get the project in the ground, he doesn't get any money from the village. So he's gotta have a completed project, and then we are coming up on the mandatory expenditure period deadline for this TIF. That's in 2026. And so essentially, if he has a completed project by January 1 of 2021, he'd receive about $89,000 a year until he reaches that $500,000, and then he wouldn't receive anything else.
Okay.
So again, he has to pay, or he has to perform in order to get paid from the village. Over the remaining life of the TIF, we're looking at about $2 million worth of new value created from this project. You do less the $500,000 developer incentive payment, and we're looking at about $1.5 million worth of improvements that we can do at Lake Packwell Park with this development. So a real win-win for the village. We get some nicer, higher-end apartment housing in Village Park at Plover. Housing is a huge underrated part of economic development, so having folks there on a regular basis living in that area will only help generate more business activity for the businesses that are around there. And the village gets about $1.5 million to spend on Lake Packwell Park improvements. So really a huge win-win for the village.